Curvy ladies assemble. Like moths to the flame, Marvel Rivals has lured many a gamer into its warm, seductive embrace, and I'm all for it. You know the rule about creepy internet artists. If it exists, we've gotta ruin it. And I am very, very guilty of this myself, having made several prints featuring characters from this series. That being said, I thought it would be a fun idea to actually give this game a look, see if it's worth covering, and couldn't really get into it. It wasn't terrible by any means, and I've enjoyed playing the Heel Slut and Paladins in the past, but the controls felt laughably overcomplicated, with underwhelming level design. Maybe I just suck at the game, or perhaps it was a bad character choice for a beginner. Option C, this isn't a gaming PC. If you know how I completely failed like a dummy, let me know in the comments. Ignoring that setback, playing Psylocke for a moment reminded me of another game I've wanted to revisit for a while. One that gets skipped due to being quickly overshadowed by its own successors, Marvel's superheroes. In the majority of these games, I main Wolverine, but who hasn't? Popularity and cool factor aside, he's a fun chase-down character that lets you play aggressively. It would be an extremely easy task to do another run with the little guy, and knock out the video, but where would the fun be in that? So in staying on theme, we're playing as Psylocke, who I have almost zero experience with. Obviously I'm a big fan of her design. Do we really need an explanation? Look at those thighs. However, this arcade cabinet showed up less in the wild than its familia, and was usually sitting right next to more popular games. And even with the multitude of sequels and spin-offs, she rarely made it past the casting couch. Unlike her Marvel Rivals counterpart, she has an incredibly diverse skill set, ranging from multi-directional projectiles, a high-reaching anti-air, standing and rolling rush ends, and even a teleport to get the drop on your opponent. Controls are the standard 6-button layout you'd expect from most VS series games, with the standout gimmick being the Infinity Stones. In casual play, you could be forgiven for not even using these. I usually didn't, but in single-player arcade, they allow you to stomp most enemies, and are a must against the final bosses. To add even more depth, each character has a specific gem that gives them a bonus ability on top of its default power. Juggernaut, for example, gets extra damage absorption. Capt has something resembling the custom combo gauge from Street Fighter 02. Psylocke arguably has one of the better powers, with her being able to create clones, which on its own sounds amazing, but it also allows for you to deal massive damage while taking over the entire screen. Ready to jam, our first stop is Iron Man, and I'm a little bit rusty, so we crowd in and button mash while trying to figure out her moves, cause it's the first matchup, and it would be embarrassing if we came even close to losing a round. Round 2, I lost. But that's okay. When life pins you down, you get back up again, and spam that projectile attack like your life depends on it. Iron Man is great at controlling distance, so why not take advantage of it? Next up is everyone's favorite villain from the Ghost Rider series, Blackheart. Yes, that really is supposed to be him. And I'm gonna keep it 100%. I do not remember a single person picking this guy in the arcade. He looks kinda cool, but he mostly sends his demons out to dry hump you, so whatever. It's your boy, Spider Guy, and I have to admit I never really got around to playing him much either. Which is a shame, because he always looked really fun, and I can tell he's a good choice for main due to how many times I've gotten the crap kicked out of me by others playing him. Usually I'd say play defensively, making sure to block his wrist wads. They can get sticky. However, I must have the cheap controller, by which I mean keyboard, cause block just ain't working, so we go for plan B, cheating him with chip damage. Juggernaut is a weird one. Originally designed as a boss for Children of the Atom, his moveset is a bit lacking, even into the crossovers. He can deal heavy damage and is much faster than you'd expect, but other than being tanky, there's not much there, and so he's just boring to play. Storming the barricades, it's Captain Funmerica, and he's here to make gaming something something. Remember, this was well before the movies made Steve Rogers cool, so please forgive me for spending little time with the guy. He was kinda corny. But that shield toss can be deadly, along with his rush in, so try to cut him off from getting to it whenever you can. He's always felt like an easier match due to playstyle. He wants to fight from the inside, I want to fight from the inside. Just give him what he wants and lay on that damage.
Nothing can defy my magnetic power!
This geriatric is not messing around, and if you're not careful, you'll be the one left in hospice. Another repurposed boss, he's always had balancing issues in his favor, even into Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But we have nearly all of the Infinity Stones, and it's time to put them to work. Just unleash them back to back and pile on the aggression. Magneto is more dangerous from a distance with his standing heavy, so if you crowd him, he essentially loses his best attack. Hulk smash. Before we hit the boss rush, there's two more characters on the roster we need to mention. Big Green is usually a pretty all-around fun character in those Street Fighter crossovers. Sadly, this version of him just isn't there yet, playing almost like a test build. His moveset is laughably weak, half the size of our girl Psylocke's, and are the lesser versions of the attacks he's known for in MVC. He's also tiny next to some of the other big boys, which is just adorable. Don't run off, he just wants to play. Real talk, imagine what will happen if they put him in Rivals. 3D animators are gonna get really weird with it. A surprisingly fun character, Shumagorath's got a lot going on, even if his moveset is awkward at first. He can roll in like Felicia, and downward slam like Kirby, and his super is ridiculously overpowered. I almost feel sorry for the AI. 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Aw, he's shy.
In the end, all will kneel before doom.
The doctor is in, and I've been knocked out. Even worse, I'm uninsured, so the guy takes all my soul gems as payment. That's the healthcare system. It's time to go hard, penetrate his defenses, and fight from the inside. His long-distance attacks allow him to snipe you fast from any angle, and up close he can do some AoE to knock you back. Do not let up. You need to keep knocking those gems loose, and then instantly activate them in order to maximize damage and keep the cycle going. At this point in the footage, you can also see me desperately trying to set up an air combo. It's been a while, and I kinda forgot how. Or maybe the timing and setup is just way different than in the later games. So we give up on that and chip away at that health bar, because I'm not about to let the clear lack of skill get in the way of winning this one. Party time! We've made it to the final boss, and we are going to prematurely celebrate. He's holding all the cards, by which I mean stones, and he actually knows how to use them, giving Thanos a huge advantage in this matchup. All of his attacks hit hard, and coincidentally, his low special is very reminiscent of what Hulk would use in later games. He can also take a pounding, which is kinda hot, but not when we're trying to end this match. That's okay. We've got the Power Stone and some meter, and now is the perfect time to unleash everything, because there ain't gonna be a round 3. Thanos defeated, we've rescued Avengers B-Team, and more real talk, if you had told me back then all of these characters would get movies and shows, would have never believed you. In fact, I even forgot Psylocke was in a movie herself up until that last line read. Landing back at Xavier's school for very special children, Psylocke is embraced by her found family, and we are given some lofty words about her not wanting to use the gems to be a naughty girl, and that's about it. It's a 90s fighting game. We can only blame ourselves for expecting more from the story. A wise squid once said, "Remember well, when you fight yourself, you are always victorious." There's still one more little bonus before we roll on credits, both Doom and Thanos being playable unlocks after finishing the game once. That's neat, but the cool part is actually in the Japanese release, allowing you to play as Anita from Vampire Savior. She's completely unbalanced, but it's the novelty I love, and she has a special that hits so many times it borders on absurd. We've endured Infinity War, so it's safe to assume we can also survive the apocalypse. Obviously, a Marvel game isn't going to be as obscure as most of the other content on this channel, but the VS series of games are still very important to me, and are even the reason behind the naming of this channel and my comic, which is a love letter to those games in the first place. It's a great game, overshadowed by even better games, with the same characters, so the real question ends up being, why would you specifically go back to this one? And it's gotta be the gem system. Every other related game plays better, but having the Infinity Stones just adds a bit of randomness that makes the game engaging. It doesn't add depth to the strategy, it's just that casual fun you'd have playing something like Smash. Thank you to all the new subscribers, slowly moving towards those goals. A lot of this short-form content is just to get rolling faster on that, and there are already plans in the works to get started on some animation projects, most likely starting with something trailer-like in order to get eyes on it. Anyway, it's about 2 AM because that's the best time to do line reads. We'll be back with most likely another VS game just to keep things moving, and with that, I will catch you in the next one.